Hello and welcome to the last day of our sew along. You've made it this far. Great job so far. Today we'll be adding the flounce on the skirt, well, on the dress, or you'll be hemming it if you've selected to do the hem option for either the shirt or the dress. If you're hemming it, you have to start by hemming the vertical edge, raw edge, by just pressing on the wrong side ½ inch and sew with a zigzag stitch or cover stitch or twin needles, and then sew hem the bottom 1 inch. I am going to be adding the flounce for mine, so we'll have to start by creating that long flounce that will wrap around the whole bottom raw edge of the dress. So I like to start with the flounce that has the narrow top, because I know where that will go. So I have two mirror images. The little flounce that has a narrow top, I know that will go up like this on the front. So then I'm taking the other flounce that goes with the bottom, with the front, and then matching at the raw edge, right sides together, and I'm creating two longer flounces. And sewing this together, and then we'll be adding the back flounce. Again, you're going to have to finish it. Will be left unhemmed, you're going to have to finish the serger thread, either tucking it in the stitch or knotting it and tying it off, whatever you prefer. Oh look, this one didn't cut yet. So I have one of the front flounces done. Then I'm going to do the same thing on for the other one. So this long flounce will be made of 6 smaller flounces. Okay, so now we have the 2 front flounces. We're gonna have to add the back one. So this is gonna go like this on the other side. Alright, so take your back flounce, and I like to create first one long back flounce. So with the right sides together, I do believe these are equal, yeah, so it doesn't really matter, just if you have a preference of how your design will lay. So I know I want mine to be on this end based on how I put my character, but the back one are symmetrical, I believe. So I'm sewing the center back. So now I have 1 center back flounce and then 2 for the front. So now I'm going to have to sew them together at the side seam. So the 2 raw edges of the back will go to the 2 raw edges of the front on the wide end, not the little one here, see? Not this one. We're gonna go around the wide end and attach the back flounce right sides together. And again, because I use the directional print, it's okay, and I know that some of my characters eventually in the flounce will be upside down, but that's okay. It's a flounce. It's not really noticeable. Alright. Again, this will remain unhemmed, so make sure you tie all your serger thread off. Okay, and repeat the same thing for the other end of the back flounce to match at the side seam. So after this stitch, you will have created a very long flounce made of 6 pieces. Okay, and I'll show it to you. This is the center back right here. Let me zoom you out a little bit. So this is the center back. I just kept it folded, and this is how it look like. It will look like one side, and the other side is the same. So you have a long flounce like this that we will be pinning to the raw edge, sewing it in place, and we're done. All right, so let's start pinning. And I like to start from the center back. This way I make sure that nothing twists. So on the flounce back you have the seam. On the dress you should also have a seam on the back, but if you've opted to do my method with no seam on the back, then you will have to find the center back of the bottom raw edge. So mine is right here. So I'm aligning the flounce right sides together. And pinning it in place. Just want to make sure that this will not unravel. So you're gonna pin all around the raw edges without stretching any of the fabric. You won't be stretching the flounce, and you won't be stretching your dress either. This is a 1-to-1 ratio. The other one point that I will pin will be the side seam, because I have a side seam for the flounce and a side seam for the dress. So I'm going to be matching those next. See, and you want to make sure that nothing twists. And then I'm going to be matching the top. And the top of the raw edge is where you have also your ties. So the tie will basically be sandwiched in between the two right sides together of the flounce. Alright, so this is how one side looks like. And I'm gonna go ahead and continue from here and pin in place. You're working with a convex curve and a concave one, so make sure you don't stretch anything, you just match them. Nothing needs to be eased into anything. And when you sew it together, if you want to have a little extra length than the intended look, like I do, nobody tell Judy this. Well, she knows. I like my dresses a little longer than she likes hers. I do like to sew this with a 1/4 of an inch seam allowance instead of a 1/2 an inch seam allowance when I add the flounce. Just mentally, I'm giving myself 1/2 an inch extra length. It's not gonna make much difference, but I don't know. It's just in my mind. Just keep pinning, just keep pinning. I do encourage you to pin, not excessively, but in a few spots, just to make sure that your flounce is not twisting. Because the last thing you want to do is start sewing and realize that you've twisted your flounce and you have to start seam ripping stitches. Alright, so we're done with half of the skirt. So now I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Match the side seam. Oh, we're not halfway through. Actually, that was the side seam. I thought we were halfway through. We're just on the back now. But this is the last step. So if you've hemmed, you're probably already done by now. Alright, so let's do the other side now. Find your side seam of the flounce, which is this. You will match it with the side seam of your dress and pin it in place. Like this. Okay, and then the front. So you're basically repeating the same thing you've done on the other side. And then just sew in place. You're done. Woohoo! Alright, let's start sewing so I can show you the finished product. Alright, this is gonna be a long stitch, but hey. Such a colorful print, I love it. Make sure the rest of the fabric away. You don't fold the flounces. Last thing you want to do is I've worked so hard for this and then you accidentally snip it off or something. This is probably the longest sewing day out of all days in which we actually sewed something because of the flounce. But see, the pattern is not difficult at all. if you take it one step at a time, the most time consuming part is stitching the printing and cutting the fabric, but other than that, this is not a hard, difficult pattern. All right, so I am at the part where I have not pinned, so I need to make sure I'm grabbing it. Almost there. See, this part I haven't pinned, so I need to make sure my rock align properly. Okay, so side seam, and now I need almost there. Almost there. Come on, don't twist. That's why pinning helps, to make sure that the fabric, that the flounce does not twist on you. It would have definitely helped pinning here a little bit. Oh, so little left, so little left. Optionally, if you want, you can top stitch the seam allowance up. But you could if you want to. All done. Let's see how pretty it is. Now, even if you don't top stitch it, do press it. Press your seam allowance up. So this is the front. So you want your seam allowance to go this way. And all done. Beautiful job. Thank you so much for sewing along with me this month. I will be giving it a good press, take a few pictures and post it in the comments of day 6 of the sew along album. This will count as your check-in for the entire sew along to make sure you qualify for the prizes. We will have 2 winners that I will select on Monday evening or maybe Tuesday morning and post them on the blog. They will get patterns for pirates and made for mermaid gift card, as well as Oh So Pretty, who provided this gorgeous fabric that I've used during my sew along. So make sure you join her group as well on Facebook. And I will select the winners based on from the comments of day 6 of the sew along album. Of course, once you've commented there, so you check in that you finished your sew along, feel free to share your finished dresses or shirts in Patterns for Pirates in the fabric group that you used, and let everyone admire your hard work from the past week. I will talk to you guys soon. Bye.